Welcome back to World Crisis Radio. Webster Tarpley reporting tonight from Hamburg, Germany. Thanks to Phil Berg, a couple of technical difficulties, but the idea that the blackmail is the central issue, I think that's very important. It's the political disability caused by the constitutional disability that then turns into the real crisis, which is that the Obama administration is blackmailed 6 ways to Sunday because of all of these different things. And therefore, this is unacceptable. This is going to have to end, or we pay a terrible price. Now, let's just round out the situation concerning the destabilizations. And again, it's a stunning wave of destabilizations, a tsunami. I told you this back in early January, 2 months ago almost. CIA has gone wild, Anglo-American intelligence in a flight forward, certainly. It's a twilight of the gods, Götterdämmerung, flight forward by the CIA, by the U.S. British intelligence community, and they basically want to destroy all national governments. That's the role of the empire. So if you're anti-government, let me ask you, does that mean you're supporting the CIA in their anti-government attacks around the world? Remember, they're happy to have regionalization. Look, they've just regionalized Sudan. Iraq is regionalized as a result of them. Their whole goal with Iran is to divide that into 5 or 6 different regions. Above the regions will float the empire in the form of NATO for the military side and the International Monetary Fund on the other side. So you choose between the national state, which has tremendous unexploited potentialities. The national state has never completely triumphed in the world. Much of the world has always remained in other forms. We deserve to give the national state the chance to show what it can do before you go into this stuff with secessionism or ethnic exclusivity, ethnic cleansing, and so forth. All of this bankrupt, does not work, destroys civilization. So the situation, therefore, is I think that we're going to have invasion, a NATO seizure of parts of Libya, the valuable parts, the oil parts, the coastline parts, and then inside where the oil is. This will be done by NATO. There will probably be easy to get a UN resolution in that regard. Let's see if Russia and China are going to hang tough. Don't bet the ranch. But there it is. And let's see. The other thing we ought to go just retrospectively, why are there now destabilizations in Bahrain? Bahrain, of course, is this island there in the Gulf, Persian Gulf, Arabian Gulf, which has the base of the U.S. Fifth Fleet. And the reason, of course, is that the Al Khalifa royal family of Bahrain, the rulers of Bahrain, last year in October said to the U.S., we forbid you, we will not allow you to use our base, our country, as a springboard for military attacks on Iran. So now look at the pattern. This is very important. Individual cases can always be interpreted one way or another, but the pattern, once you have the pattern has a great degree of objective validity. It's beyond opinion, in other words. So we had Mubarak. What was Mubarak's cardinal sin? What was his heresy? It was that he refused to take part in the isolation of Iran. Rather, he opened direct air flights from Cairo to Tehran and back when Hillary Clinton was screaming that everybody had to cut all commercial relations of every conceivable kind, banking, finance, trade with Iran. He didn't do it. He did the opposite. He crossed Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama. He basically spat in their faces by saying, I'm going to have decent relations with Iran. Good idea. The 2 biggest countries and most important countries in the region, along with Turkey, of course, would be, it's important for them not to be at each other's throats. What's to be gained? Why do it? And then the big one is that U.S. plan for a Sunni Arab front under a U.S. nuclear umbrella, including Israel, and playing that against the Persian, Iranian, Shiite front, including Syria, including Hezbollah, Hamas, and the radicals. And with that latter one would be the rejection front. The first one would be the U.S.-sponsored front. And that was the big issue in the summer of 2009. Mubarak said no. Therefore, he was targeted. Now, the royal family of Bahrain, the Khalifas, they say, we will not be a springboard and base for your aggressive war against Iran. Immediately, within months, demonstrations, riots in the streets, the Golden Youth, the Google revolution. What more do we need? Now, Gaddafi, of course, has a long, long record Reagan tried to kill him under the cover of this La Belle discotheque back in 1985. There was a U.S. Carrier raid on Libya. Gaddafi's adopted daughter, 1.5-year-old baby girl, killed in the attack. See, Obama and these people, they say Gaddafi's a butcher. He's a butcher. Did he kill your daughter? How about you? If somebody killed your daughter, would you have a vendetta going? Quite possible. Anyway, they don't see it that way. There were, of course, attempts then to assassinate Gaddafi. The whole David Shaler story. Back in the early 1990s, you can read about this in 9/11 Synthetic Terror. David Shaler of MI5 became aware that MI6 had hired Al-Qaeda, in quotes, to kill Gaddafi, and it looks like the idea was precisely this. You kill Gaddafi, the tribes go into revolt, and then you've got a chance to invade. You can seize the oil fields. It's perfect. It's 9/11 in advance of 9/11, and that, of course, has been going on for a long time. Of course, Gaddafi's original sin was going back to the 1960s when Libya still had King Idris, I believe. This was a king who had been there, I think, during Italian rule, but was there certainly in the 50s. One of the biggest U.S. Air Force bases in the world was Wheelus Air Force Base in Libya, and what Gaddafi, of course, did with this, that he closed it. And then Gaddafi was able to oscillate between France sometimes when he could, Italy sometimes when he could. And remember, you could easily see, in terms of cooperation, an axis: Putin, Berlusconi, Gaddafi, Moscow, Rome, Tripoli, Russia, Italy, and Libya. So this is real. This has got to do with energy and other forms of cooperation. So that's why he's under attack. And again, Bahrain under attack because they were not willing to take part in the U.S. attack on Iran. All of this means that in the background of what we see immediately, the danger of the attack on Iran is now getting greater, even though some of the pawns seem to be getting ground up in the process. A somewhat contradictory process, but there it goes. Let's see if there's anything else on the situation here with. There's going to be a meeting of the UN Human Rights Commission Monday in Geneva with Lady Ashton. Undoubtedly, a new area for people to strut and preen themselves against Gaddafi that they hired to be essentially a jailer, a concentration camp commandant for these poor wretches out of Africa trying to get into Europe. So the general assault on the nation state. Now the strategic answer. We'll do the strategic answer in the next segment. Back in a minute.